What is a witch's favorite school subject?
What is a witch's favorite school subject? I don't know.
Spelling. Remember the cast spells?
Spelling.
Which letter of the alphabet has the most water?
Which letter of the alphabet has the most water? I don't know.
C.
C. Hello, this is Gina.
Oh, this is Don. My jokes had stopped me.
With Focused Healthy Family, and it's time for another Tuesday tip. So today I'm looking at an image that you probably pulled off of social media, Don.
Yeah.
And what it says is subjects that should be mandatory in schools. And there's little pictures for each of them, but we'll go through them here.
Yeah.
Just thinking about things that you don't typically get taught in school and are things that are essential that we all really need to learn. The first one is taxes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
As soon as you have a job, right? That's something you need to learn how to do. And yet, does anybody ever learn that? Finance in general is something that, and that's another one on here is personal finance, but it goes hand in hand with that and learning how to manage money. And I know with homeschooling our kids, our oldest did a co-op and they did a personal finance class in that co-op. And I know there's programs out there that you can find for your kids, but wouldn't it be nice if it was mandatory part of curriculum? Because
and this is going to be coming out right before tax time too. So you got a chance now to get your children involved with that as you do your taxes. Might be an idea.
Pick up an extra, what is it, the
tax form,
1040 EZ form. You can pick them up at the library or whatever.
Kind of even play with it, even if they're young kids. So
or maybe if they do something around the house for money, or they make a small amount of income some way, or just they can pretend
that they pay taxes.
And there's other programs to do, but things that are essential skills that, and all of a sudden there you are, and you've got to I still remember our second child. Her older brother taught her how to do her taxes.
Oh, yeah.
Helped her through it, and it was neat to see that he helped her with it. Coding. I guess because coding is everywhere in the world, that I feel like everyone needs to learn a little bit about. It would be useful if we all knew something about coding. I know.
Yeah, I think because we're in such a digital age of everything that so.
Cooking.
Oh, yeah.
So I had home ec. Did you have home ec when you were in
school?
Did you have cooking? Or in the 60s, did boys go separate
from girls?
Well,
we didn't have that in the 70s when I was in high school.
Oh, we had it in middle school.
We didn't have middle school. I don't know what this who wants to put a school in the middle of things? You have grade school and high school. There's only a middle.
In the 80s, we rotated 4 different quarters. We did shop. We did a metal or woodworking project. We did cooking. We did sewing.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to think.
There were 4 total. This was
the home whether it was a full.
That's how we did it when I lived in Pittsburgh in the early 80s.
I think it was a full thing. I think, and we were. I don't know if we were the first class to have boys in it.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a time.
But I think we might have been the second class, and I think one or two of my friends came in and did it too.
Which is interesting because if they were, making kids in the 50s, 60s, whatever, girls take cooking classes, were they putting boys in finance classes and learning how to manage a checkbook?
No.
But yeah, don't we all need to learn to cook on some level? And it's a really great skill that you can learn at a young age, really.
Well, as more, I think more people wait to get married. They live a single life. It's probably pretty important to know how to cook some stuff. At least boil water.
Insurance. My father was a financial planner for the second half of his career, and so I learned a little bit about that kind of world, and I guess understanding the ins and outs of health insurance, of life insurance,
and what you need, and what getting it young helps cost-wise.
To understand it. Basic home repairs.
What?
Maybe you have a parent who is handy and you learned from them with doing things around the house, and
I
Wouldn't it
did.
be helpful if we all, we could learn that in school? So kids who don't have those opportunities at
No.
home would have that ability to do that. It's
Almost like having a shop class. And
um,
some high schools do have shop classes. When
typically, if you're not on the college path, you get these classes, which is funny because, any of us, no matter what kind of job we get, there's these skills that we all need, no matter if we live in an apartment or, we need to know some basic skills of taking care of things in a home or an apartment or.
well, and I think the going on down the path of not going to college, but going to what would you call the
Trade school?
Trade school. Those people make some good money. I mean, we've had plumbers out here and different things, and they're making pretty decent money. So yeah,
Self-defense.
yeah,
That is something that, and they have like women empowerment and mother-daughter classes, but it's something that all kids could use because there's plenty of boys or those who identify as non-binary that could benefit from some basic self-defense because you never know when you're in a situation, and if you know some basic techniques that you can use to protect yourself.
well, and it's also what they they teach. It doesn't just teach self-defense. It teaches discipline. It teaches.
Well,
it
but
teaches,
you can learn. You're talking about martial arts, but I'm talking about just learning basic
Oh well, yeah.
self-defense skills. We did at a martial arts studio for the Girl Scouts years ago. One of the parents did a whole class just for self-defense and taught moves and maneuvers that you can do if someone attacks you, if something happens, to be able to defend yourself. So you can just have one class and learn some basics, and even from that have something to take away with. So these are things look into. You're not finding them where your child is going to school. What can you do to add these things?
I've always wanted to meet Marshall. He must have been a neat guy that started that whole thing.
We live in the town of Marshville.
Marshallville.
Survival skills. It makes me think of Boy Scouts and
Yeah, yeah.
Basic first aid. That's not on here, but basic first aid, kind of goes hand in hand with that.
CPR and things like that.
CPR. On a totally different note, social etiquette.
Oh,
So
lovely.
an interesting way to phrase that, I would say, just social skills in general and making conversations.
Well,
and-
civility maybe too.
Oh wow, you're going back to like the 1950s. Civility.
Well, I think
Coming to learn about civility.
well nowadays though
That's
that
an
isn't
interesting
so far fetched now.
civility,
The way
so
I don't know.
it's,
Yeah,
Well, what do you think of when you think of that?
I don't know. It
Just pulled that word out of the
just
air.
came out of somewhere. I don't know. Maybe.
But problem solving.
Yeah. Well, how
Um,
to well, it's I guess socializing really is what how to interact with others, how to be well, just and politeness and things that I
I'm
don't
thinking
know.
more
And
current, like cultural appreciation and understanding
Yeah.
people's differences and respecting people's differences and thinking about that in those terms. There's a lot of different ways you could go with those kinds of ideas. Public speaking.
oh, yeah,
So our son did
Toastmasters.
no,
no,
Gavel Club is
a type of Toastmaster. It's like a junior version.
There's a version for, first he did it as a middle schooler, a younger version, and then he did it kind of the high school level. And you learn public speaking skills. And
Yeah.
it's done in a fun environment of support and almost like a game in some senses. Do they do the same thing in Toastmasters where you count people's ahs and ums and
yeah, they have some. There's a
you have everyone's
each class. There's somebody that does that. There's somebody that times. There's a whole.
everybody
series.
has a role that's
Role, yeah.
participating there, and a couple people are doing speeches, and then people are giving feedback,
Mhm.
written feedback on those speeches, and then different people have different roles that they play for that. So Toastmasters is the adult version of the program, but you can look for a gavel
I
program.
think, luckily, when I was in grade school, I actually did a speech club, and I actually won a ribbon for a poem called Abigail. I wish I could find it. I don't know, but I had to go around.
Did you write the poem?
No,
Oh.
no, it was, I don't know. I think whoever was the leader of it gave me gave it to me, I think, if I remember right.
So for reading the poem, that was your speech?
Yeah, but I had to memorize it.
Oh yeah, we had.
And I had to go around. We went throughout all the classes and you had to do it. And then we had a they had an actual competition. I got third place in it.
Oh.
Not bad.
I remember having to memorize and do a speech in front of my class and how terrifying it was
Yeah.
having to do that. But I pushed myself in high school to take a speech class as an elective. So
What'd you
you
do?
just shut down. Oh, there's a phone call coming through. So remember, how you speak to your children today or listen to them shapes
Their future and yours.